On the 8th anniversary of my relationship with Charles, I was overjoyed as I prepared a feast to propose to him. Instead, I received a photo and a voice message from his childhood friend, Sophia. In the photo, Charles was gently embracing her, his eyes filled with a love I had never seen before. In the voice message, Charles joked with his friends, saying, "Emily and I are just playing around, there's no way we're getting married." However, after I gathered my disappointment and decided to leave, he knelt down with a diamond ring, pleading for me to love him once more. Sophia quickly retracted her message, saying, "Emily, I accidentally sent that, please don't take it to heart." This is not the first time I've received a provocation from Sophia. Charles is drunk and is calling for you to pick him up. A location pin followed immediately. My hands trembled as I typed a message, only to delete it again. In the end, I simply replied with one word, "Okay." When I pushed open the private room, I found Charles and Sophia sharing the same chocolate stick. Charles's brothers began to tease him, and upon seeing me, they all started coughing in unison. Sophia pretended to be surprised and affectionately patted Charles's face, saying, "Your wife is here." Charles bit into a chocolate bar and frowned in displeasure, saying, "Today is a gathering for us brothers. What are you doing here, woman?" Charles's words left me at a loss. "I asked your wife to pick you up. You got drunk, and I can't carry you home. Are you trying to wear me out?" Sophia's tone was filled with playful reproach. Charles relaxed his brow and jokingly replied, "What, you don't want me to come home?" "Of course I do." Sophia giggled. I interrupted their conversation, wanting to take Charles away. Seeing the ambiguous lipstick stain on his neck that matched the shade on Sophia's lips, I couldn't help but speak up. "Charles has a girlfriend, and I hope you'll be more mindful of your behavior when you're playing around." Sophia put on a look of grievance and said, "Sister-in-law, you misunderstood my relationship with brother Charles. We were just playing a game after losing a dare, and there are so many guys here." "Yeah, sister-in-law, we've grown up together, so you can rest assured about that," Charles's friends chimed in. "Emily, what do you mean? Can't you stop being so paranoid?" Charles's voice carried a hint of displeasure. Sophia, tears in her eyes, said, "Sister-in-law, Charles, I'll be more careful in the future. It's my fault. Please don't argue anymore, I'll leave right now." Charles quickly stopped her, saying, "Where do you think you're going? If anyone should leave, it should be her." He then commanded, "Emily, apologize to Sophia immediately. Every time you come around, something bad happens, you always make a mountain out of a molehill." I stubbornly remained silent. Sophia broke free from Charles's grasp and rushed out of the room, tears streaming down her face. "It seems to be raining outside," someone remarked. Charles glared at me angrily, saying, "If anything happens to Sophia, you and I are not done." With that, he grabbed my umbrella and car keys and hurried out. I stood there in a daze. Outside, the heavy rain hit the ground with a loud thud, yet my heart remained surprisingly calm. I walked aimlessly in the rain. My long relationship with Charles had evolved from school uniforms to wedding gowns. Charles was not only academically excellent but also handsome, making him a prominent figure at school. I was drawn to him purely by his looks. As the designated heir of a pharmaceutical group, I began taking over the family business during my high school years. Seeing Charles in the hospital, distressed and crying over the high cost of medical procedures, ignited my desire to protect him. I was prompted to tell him that as long as he stayed with me, I would cover his grandmother's surgery fees and all subsequent medical expenses. He agreed. At first, I simply enjoyed the thrill of bringing down a high and mighty figure from his pedestal, but over time, as we spent more days and nights together, I secretly fell in love with him for real. After graduating from university, I chose not to study abroad. Instead, I stayed in the country to leverage my connections to secure resources and expand his market. I left my job to be by his side, wholeheartedly devoted to supporting him, even if it meant being behind the scenes. The sound of a car horn brought me back to reality. I found myself unknowingly walking into a somewhat desolate and unfamiliar area. As the car window rolled down, a man whistled at me and called out, "Hey, beautiful, all alone? Why don't you hop in for some fun?" As he spoke, he attempted to get out of the car and grab me, which startled me so much that I ran away without looking back. I quickly pulled out my phone to call Charles, but all I received was a cold notification: "The user you are trying to reach is temporarily unavailable." The footsteps behind me grew louder. I had no choice but to turn into a maze of narrow alleys. However, unfamiliar with the terrain and with the road slick from the rain, I fell hard onto the ground. Blood began to flow from beneath me, and I was suddenly gripped by intense abdominal pain. The man who had been approaching me saw the scene and hurriedly ran away in fright. With a glimmer of hope, I called Charles one last time. After a series of busy signals, the call finally connected. Charles's impatient voice came through. "Emily, have you had enough of this? Sophia is already weak, and now you've gotten her sick from the rain. Are you satisfied?" "Charles, I fell, and my stomach hurts. Can you come pick me up?" My face was pale, and my voice was weak. Sensing something was off, Charles hesitated. "You're not just making up a story to trick me into coming back, right?" Just as I was about to speak, a series of coughs from Sophia cut through the conversation, leaving the implication clear. "Brother Charles, you should go. Don't let sister-in-law catch a cold too." Cough, cough, cough. Charles replied tersely, "Just get some medicine for yourself. I need to take care of Sophia." I hung up the phone. The rain poured down harder, washing away the blood on the ground. I waited in despair for the ambulance to arrive. When I next opened my eyes, I found myself lying on a hospital bed. The doctor regretfully informed me that I had miscarried. I was stunned, as if struck by lightning. My heart felt like it was being torn apart, and the pain was nearly unbearable. The doctor was concerned that I might become too emotional and do something reckless, so he suggested I message my family to keep me company. In a moment of instinct, I wanted to text Charles to tell him we lost our child, that my sole hope was gone. Just as I sent the hospital's location, I instantly received a reply from Charles. The photo showed a bowl of hot ginger soup and Charles focused on peeling an apple. Sophia texted, "Sister-in-law, I'm sorry, but Charles is busy taking care of me right now. He asked how much you need so he can transfer it to you." I dropped my phone, feeling as if my heart had turned to ashes. Next door, there's a couple. The boy is anxiously caring for the girl, who playfully complains, "I just got up to use the restroom." "Why are you so worked up?" The boy chuckles and scratches his head, "I just want to take care of you." "Smooth talker," she retorts. Their sweet conversation brings back memories of my romance with Charles. He used to treat me with such tenderness, just like that boy. When I was the target of rumors at school, he disregarded my protests and confronted the bullies, even getting into a fight for me. When I accidentally cut my hand while cooking, he would fret for the entire day and firmly forbid me from stepping into the kitchen again. If I were hospitalized, he would drop everything and rush to my side. But when did he change? Ever since his gaming company went public, he has become so busy that we barely see each other once a month. When Sophia returned to her country, the once sweet and affectionate conversations were now replaced by dismissive messages, "Busy, no time, not going home." It felt as if we had suddenly grown distant from each other. Staring at the photo of Charles, I was lost in thought for a long time. The steaming ginger soup and the sweet apples that brought comfort were no longer just mine. A tear slipped from the corner of my eye and landed on my lips. It's so painful. I can no longer find a reason to keep going. After resting in the hospital for a night to regain some energy, I took a cab home early in the morning. Some relationships need to come to an end. "Where have you been? Why didn't you come back yesterday?" Charles questioned me. I ignored him, focusing on packing my things, one item at a time. Charles seemed dissatisfied with my disregard for him, throwing all my belongings out of the suitcase. "Emily, haven't you caused enough trouble yesterday? Sophia and I have a brotherly bond, and if we need to address something, we'll do it ourselves. Why do you have to put on a show to get my attention?" In the past, such words would have frightened me. I feared losing Charles's affection, but I had already died yesterday. I spoke slowly and deliberately, "Charles, let's break up." I looked at him coldly, my eyes devoid of any emotion. "Aren't you just upset because I didn't accompany you yesterday? Do you even realize that Sophia is so upset she can't get out of bed, while you're here, bustling about packing your things? Tell me, who truly deserves my concern?" Charles furrowed his brow, a hint of impatience evident on his face. "If you knew what I went through yesterday, would you still think my pain is less than Sophia's?" I didn't say anything because I no longer cared. "Let's break up." My tone was resolute, carrying a sense of determination. He responded with a couple of disbelieving laughs, as if hearing the greatest joke. "Don't forget how you used to fawn over me. How dare you say such things? You want to leave? If you walk out that door, don't ever come back. Just go." My heart didn't stir at all. Aside from the little things we had collected during our time together, all I could take with me were just a few pieces of clothing and some jewelry. I repacked my suitcase, opened the door, and walked out. Charles rushed down the stairs in a frenzy and desperately grabbed my hand. "Have you thought this through? Are you really leaving?" Feeling physically exhausted and still recovering, I didn't have the strength to shake off his grip. All I could do was scold him, "Let go, we've broken up. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." "Let her go," a clear male voice intervened. He stepped forward and helped me break free from Charles's hold. "This young lady has stated that she no longer has any ties to you. Your insistence here is nothing but harassment." It was Ryan, my childhood friend and a big player in the overseas gaming industry. I heard he had recently returned to the country to follow up on a project, and before I could introduce him to Charles, I didn't expect to meet him in this way. Charles's expression changed noticeably. He clenched his fist and swung at Ryan, who deftly dodged the blow. The two quickly got into a scuffle. Ryan had been working out for years, boasting a perfect muscular build, and Charles was soon at a disadvantage. I felt a pang of compassion and tried to step in to stop them, but I was pushed to the ground during the struggle. They stopped and reached out their hands to me. Ignoring everyone, I slowly stood up. Ryan was the first to ask how I was doing. When I looked up, I saw the bruises around Charles's eyes and the blood at the corner of his mouth, and I couldn't help but feel pain for him. Just as I was about to express my concern, Charles sneered, "Oh, so you wanted to marry me yesterday, but today you're breaking up with me and bringing in a pretty boy. Looks like you've already lined up your next partner. Is that really what you think of me?" I asked in disbelief. No wonder the rumors at school spread so widely. It turns out they were all true. I took a few steps back, barely managing to stabilize myself, as if all my strength had been drained away. I couldn't believe such hurtful words had come from him, and my heart felt like it was being torn in two. Ryan, even more furious, wanted to stand up for me, but I shook my head to stop him. "I don't want to see him anymore." He gently took my luggage from my hands as we got into the car. Looking out the window, my thoughts began to swirl. He softly asked, "Are you okay?" A seemingly ordinary expression of concern caused all the pent-up frustration within me to burst forth, and I could no longer hold back. I broke down into tears. Ryan silently handed me a tissue while soft, soothing music played in the background to comfort me. I could no longer deceive myself. My phone buzzed continuously with messages from Charles. I had blocked all his contacts and decisively tossed away the SIM card. After a long, exhausting day, I fell into a deep sleep without even realizing it. Ryan quietly entered the room, holding a bowl of chicken soup. When he saw I was awake, he smiled gently and said, "You looked unwell, and I was worried that sleeping on an empty stomach might harm you. I didn't want to wake you, so I checked in on you occasionally to see if you were awake." I took the bowl of chicken soup, and the delicious aroma filled the air. I whispered a thank you. After taking a few sips, I lost my appetite, and the atmosphere grew tense in the silence. He asked about my future plans, and after thinking for a long time, I replied, "I plan to take over the anime company my parents bought for me while I study and see how it goes. I'm going to look for a place tomorrow after work. Sorry for bothering you today." Ryan didn't say much. He just nodded, took away the bowl, and advised me to get some sleep before leaving. Before coming to the office, I had spoken with my uncle, who had gone into great detail about the things I should be aware of. I specifically asked my uncle to conceal my identity, and as the team leader, I quickly adapted to the work environment. My colleagues were all very friendly towards me, except for Minister Lucy. She always seemed hostile, occasionally expressing her dislike for me in subtle ways. I intended to confront her as soon as she returned from the restroom, but I overheard her on the phone with Sophia. "Sophia, let me tell you, the mistress who broke you and Charles apart is now working at our company, under my supervision. I don't know if she's landed a rich guy, but she really knows how to play her cards. So, it turns out someone is unaware that they're a mistress." I didn't rush in to expose her, I simply listened quietly. This heartless woman, who has been lazy and indulging for so many years, has finally been discarded by Charles. Just yesterday, she caused such a stir that Charles didn't even get a good night's sleep. "Good Lucy, please help me teach her a lesson." "Sure thing. The lead group is notoriously difficult to work with. I'll assign her to sign the contract, and if she can't handle it, I'll fire her." After the two of them came to an agreement, they broke into a conspiratorial laugh. I smiled faintly. Let's wait and see. Fortunately, During my years away from the workplace, I never gave up on my interests and even self-studied a lot of basic computer skills. Lucy couldn't pinpoint my mistakes and instead kept piling on the workload. After finishing my tasks for the day, as it got later, I reached out to a familiar sales agent to take me apartment hunting. After touring several places, I finally found a 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment in the city center that I really liked. Not only was it conveniently located, with a large supermarket behind it, but it was also just a 10-minute commute to the office by subway. I was eager to finalize the deal on this apartment. Just then, I ran into Sophia and Lucy, who were also looking at apartments in the sales office. I initially intended to pretend I didn't see them, but Sophia called out first, "Emily, is that really you?" I couldn't bring myself to admit it. After all, do you still have any money left after leaving Charles? Seeing that I was ignoring her, she became even more aggressive. Her eyes scanned me up and down, and she disdainfully said, "Some people really don't understand the value of money until they've managed their own finances. Do you even know what housing prices are like? Besides clinging to Charles and leeching off him, what do you have to offer? Or have you managed to land a wealthy partner?" She deliberately raised her voice, drawing the attention of everyone in sales. After my parents tragically passed away in a car accident, I had withdrawn from public life. To everyone else, I was just a worthless woman who depended entirely on Charles. Little did they know that without my support, Charles would never have achieved his current success. I just can't understand how someone who was so polite to me yesterday has become so aggressive today. The change is really fast. I choose to remain silent, letting her vent her frustrations. The salesperson confirmed with me whether I wanted to finalize the purchase agreement for the house. I nodded in response. Sophia didn't hold back her sarcasm, saying, "You should really be more selective with your clients. Don't sign contracts with just anyone. It would be quite amusing if you end up unable to pay your mortgage later." Lucy chimed in, "Yeah, you should evaluate the quality of your clients. Her monthly salary might require her to struggle for ages. Unlike us, Sophia, the personal secretary to President Charles, has a bright future ahead. It's true that stepping into a mistress role can lead to immense opportunities." I walked straight past them and followed the sales representative to sign the contract. "For the house she wants, I'll add an extra $50,000 and sign the contract with you." Sophia followed me inside. "You're quite relentless," I remarked. "Increase it by 100,000. I didn't waste any words. "Make it 150,000, Sophia shot back, her confidence rising. Seeing my hesitation, Lucy sneered, "I advise you to just give in to Sophia. Otherwise, you'll end up burdened with debt," feeling both sad and distressed. Before I could respond, Sophia took the initiative again, "Raise it to 200,000. The salesperson hesitantly asked, I sighed and nodded helplessly. Sophia triumphantly snatched the contract from the salesperson's hand and signed her name without a second glance. The salesperson beamed and said, "All right, miss. The price for this suburban villa is $11 million. With the homeowner's discount of 10%, it comes to $9 million, plus an additional 200,000, totaling $1 million. Would you prefer to pay via Alipay or credit card?" At the moment she heard the price, Sophia nearly lost her balance, and Lucy promptly caught her. The two exchanged panicked looks. For Sophia, who typically spent extravagantly on her $30,000 monthly salary, this was no small amount. I let out a cold snort and said, "So someone is just pretending to be rich, huh?" Sophia immediately snapped back to reality, bumping into me as she walked by. She pulled out a bank card and said, "Brother Charles said I'm always late, so he specially gave me this card to buy a house." Someone must be terribly jealous. I recognized the card. It was the one Charles had given me for grocery shopping. The amount on it would be enough to buy an apartment, but definitely not a villa. Sure enough, the machine issued a balance insufficient warning. My smile widened, and Sophia's expression faltered as she tried to save face, saying, "Looks like I grabbed the wrong card. Brother Charles specifically reminded me this morning. My mind is just not working today." "Miss, I've set up the installment plan for you," the sales representative said with a smile. "All right, I'll bring my card tomorrow to settle it," Sophia replied casually, but her face betrayed her discomfort. A notification on my phone indicated that I had received a payment of $1 million. Feeling delighted, I asked the sales representative to bring over the contract for the apartment I actually wanted to buy. I couldn't quite remember when I had impulsively purchased that villa in the outskirts. It hadn't sold due to its poor location. A little manipulation on my part had managed to hook Sophia in. Sophia realized what was happening and shouted furiously, "Emily, is this the apartment you've always wanted to buy? You tricked me into buying your villa." I shrugged nonchalantly. "Who told you to be so gullible? Just a friendly reminder, it's best to leave 2 hours earlier for your commute, or you might be late." Sophia was obviously furious and charged at me, trying to shove me, "You little vixen." Seeing the onlookers, Lucy pulled at Sophia, but couldn't hold her back. The sales representative, positioned in front of me, ended up taking a hit and cried out sharply, attracting attention and prompting several people to start recording. The security staff then escorted both of them out. Sophia yelled in frustration, "I just bought a house. How can you kick me out? What attitude is this?" I gently touched the sales representative's face in sympathy, but she just giggled, "That's worth $200,000, what a steal." That day, I moved in, and after hiring a cleaner, I lay back on the bed. Knowing Sophia as I do, I was sure that someone as image-conscious as her would be flaunting her villa online. I clicked into her live stream, which was titled "Live from My Villa." Sophia smiled brightly as she thanked her fans for their gifts. Once she got out of the car, someone recognized the location and commented, "Isn't this the Herlihua mansion? Did the streamer buy a villa here?" Sophia replied proudly, "Yes, the feng shui is great, so I just bought it without much thought." Wow, the streamer is so wealthy, a true rich and beautiful woman. Of course, haven't you seen that everything she wears and uses is from designer brands? As ordinary people, we can't compete. Sophia was clearly elevated by the compliments, and her smile did not fade. Someone urged, "Host, hurry up and open the door so we can see inside. We want to see the world's differences." Sophia told everyone to be patient and said she would let them in for a rocket. With so much money, you still want a rocket? You really know how to make money. Yeah, unfollowed. Sophia noticed the shift in comments and disdainfully remarked, "Without me, you probably would never get to see such an upscale villa area. With 50,000 people in the live stream, is asking for one rocket too much?" Her words caused a severe polarization in the live stream comments, with some defending Sophia while others urged fans to send gifts to discredit her. I decided to stir the pot further and registered a secondary account to send a rocket. When Sophia rolled her eyes up to the sky and then suddenly lit up with joy at the special effects, she expressed her gratitude. She then pushed the camera closer as she inserted the key into the lock and mentioned that her arm was sore and she needed a break. Those who had initially supported her began to turn against her and started to point fingers. "Is the streamer okay? She hasn't gotten enough attention yet. Isn't this someone else's house? Is she too scared to go in, trying to milk some views before running off?" Some even tagged me, hoping I would shower her with gifts to satisfy their curiosity. Sophia called out in her sweet, sugary voice, "Big brother, send a gift." I was covered in goosebumps. The audience went from angry to accusatory, and then started to doubt. I seized the moment and sent a gift. The viewer count rose to 80,000. The comments were filled with anticipation for the luxurious renovations. When the door was opened, it revealed an unfinished interior with scattered bricks and tiles. Sophia stood there in disbelief, looking around. How could this happen? The opinions turned sharply against her, with people criticizing her loudly. I knew she was just a fake rich girl. How could a wealthy person live in such an unfinished place? Honestly, I don't know how she got in here. Was she trying to sell this place? Sophia explained, "This house is really mine, I signed the contract." But no one listened to her explanation. Who even remembers she used to be a dancer? The online personas are indeed fake, specifically designed to deceive fools like you. The comment section was flooded with malicious remarks. I couldn't help but agree with the sharp-tongued netizens. Sophia, furious, angrily turned off the live stream, while I felt a sense of amusement and went to sleep peacefully. Oh, by the way, I registered using my nephew's account and even applied for a refund as a minor. As soon as I arrived at work in the morning, my colleagues looked at me strangely. The chubby girl sitting next to me quietly pulled me to the break room. "Emily, the department head Lucy has been spreading rumors in the office that she saw you getting out of an old man's car. She also accused you of falsely advertising and scamming her friend in the process of selling a house." What a huge mouth, spreading nonsense and turning things upside down. I gently laughed and asked, "You don't believe her, do you?" The chubby girl shook her head. "I don't think you're that kind of person. On your first day here, you gave me chocolate and even stayed late to help me finish my work when I was struggling. I believe you're a capable and good person. A warm feeling surged in my heart. It's been a long time since I heard such sincere praise and affirmation. I sincerely thanked her and promised to bring her some chocolate tomorrow and take her out for a nice meal. The little chubby girl was very happy, and her eyes turned into crescent moons. When I came out, Lucy casually tossed a file onto my desk and said, "You go negotiate the partnership with Lee's company. If it doesn't work out within a week, head to HR for your salary settlement." She leaned close to me and whispered, "Who told you to mess with Sophia? Just deal with the consequences." I knew that if I could secure this partnership, it would not only prove my worth but also benefit the company. A bet usually requires at least 2 people to place their stakes. "What if I can do it?" I asked in reply. Lucy looked confident, saying, "If you can do it, I'll walk away. I want you not only to walk away but also to publicly apologize. You know what I'm talking about. Do you dare? What's there to be afraid of? This project has President Charles's attention, and Sophia will definitely secure it, or you'll just be out." Lucy patted my shoulder and laughed lightly. The stakes had officially entered the countdown. I carefully reviewed and revised the overall plan, filling in the gaps, and conducted a detailed analysis of the Lee Group after researching online. The Lee Group does not exclusively collaborate with large companies, they are open to engaging with small or new companies that offer innovative ideas. However, they have not ventured into the animation industry, and I do not have enough connections to approach them directly. I chose the simplest method by scheduling an appointment with the company, only to be informed that Mr. Lee was on a business trip and wouldn't return for 3 days. During those subsequent 3 days, as the lights in the building went out, I still did not get the chance to meet him. With only 1 day left, I thought of someone who might be able to help me. As soon as I reached the bottom of the stairs, a sharp pain stabbed at my stomach, an old issue flaring up again. I squatted down, hoping to ease the discomfort. Charles appeared in front of me out of nowhere, concern etched on his face. "Did you skip breakfast? Is that why your stomach hurts? What are you doing here? I heard from Sophia that you work here, so I wanted to stop by and see you." "Sophia and I don't need your concern," I interrupted him. "I'm going to get you something to eat. Just wait for me here." After he finished speaking to himself, he ran towards the convenience store without waiting for me to say a word. As I tried to get up, I nearly tripped over myself and fell into a warm embrace. "I'll take you to the hospital," Ryan said as he picked me up and carried me to the car. "I don't need to go to the hospital, I just need to rest for a bit." He handed me my favorite pearl milk tea with 3 points of sugar, which he must have bought earlier. The sweetness warmed my body, greatly easing the intense pain in my stomach. Ryan opened the medicine cabinet and handed me some ibuprofen. Curiously teasing, I said, "You're so considerate, your girlfriend must be lucky." "Not yet." "What?" I replied, puzzled. "I don't have a girlfriend, she hasn't liked me yet." He looked at me with a slightly wronged expression. I was momentarily distracted, and my face turned bright red. I made an excuse that it was a bit hot and rolled down the car window, only to see Charles looking around for me. Before I could dodge, he had already spotted me walking towards the car. "Why is the clingy one here?" Ryan frowned in annoyance. "I'll handle this, you get some rest," he advised. I was afraid they would start arguing again like last time. "I'll go down with you." Ryan didn't say anything and took off his coat to drape it over my shoulders. "Don't catch a cold." Seeing Ryan behind me, Charles's smile faltered for a moment. "What is he doing here?" Ryan scoffed, a clingy presence. Charles handed me a cup of soy milk and a blueberry pastry. Ryan swatted it away. "Don't you know she's allergic to blueberries?" Charles looked flustered and said to me, "I'll go get you something else." "I don't need it, just go," I said. Charles looked at the oversized coat I was wearing, and his expression suddenly darkened. "What's your relationship with him?" "We grew up together." "What does it have to do with you?" I replied, filled with displeasure. Ryan put his arm around my shoulders, trying to escort me to the car, but Charles held me back. "I know you're still angry about Sophia and me, but there's no need to take it out on someone else. Do you really need to be this intimate with him?" I shook off his hand. "You're being overly sentimental. Nothing good ever comes when you're around." I returned his previous words to him verbatim. He stood frozen, watching the car drive away. "Is there anywhere you'd like to go?" Ryan asked cautiously. I recalled the matter at hand. Do you know Michael Lee from the Lee Group? I want to discuss a partnership with him, but I can never get an appointment. You can meet him at today's investment summit. I can introduce you. I've heard he's quite selective, but I believe you can handle it, Ryan replied. He pointed to a middle-aged man surrounded by people. That's him. Let's go over. Ryan and I quietly waited for the crowd to disperse. I ran into Sophia, who was holding onto Charles's arm, chattering away. If we can secure this collaboration, I'm sure I can get promoted to manager. It's all up to you. Charles smiled indulgently and nodded. Sophia then noticed me and greeted enthusiastically, Emily, you're here too. She glanced up and down at Ryan, who was standing next to me. Sophia then smirked and said, you must be her new boyfriend, right? You better treat Emily well. She's really popular. It's impressive that after breaking up with our Charles, she found someone like you to step in. I'm quite envious. Who has such a foul mouth? Ryan wrinkled his nose in disgust. You. Sophia stammered, at a loss for words. She turned to adjust Charles's collar, her eyes glancing sideways with an air of exaggerated pride and artifice. I understood she was trying to make me jealous, but my heart had long since died. I kept my gaze fixed on Michael Lee, not giving them even a glance. Sophia looked in my direction and said, are you here to sign a collaboration as well? But it might be for nothing this time. Your small company probably won't meet the threshold. Hearing this, Ryan pulled out his business card and replied, oh, really? Then I guess I should terminate the collaboration between Hive Group and Goose Group. After all, a small company can't meet the threshold. Sophia quickly glanced at Charles, who pressed his lips tightly together, his eyes cold and distant. Ryan didn't give them a chance to explain and added, he doesn't need to rely on big players, he and I are already big players in our own right. Michael Lee was finally left on his own. Let's go, brother Charles. I glanced back and met Charles's gaze. Sophia couldn't pull Charles along anymore. Brother Charles, you should go. Come with me, Sophia said, pouting. You can go by yourself. Charles's tone became impatient. Sophia shot me a fierce glare as she walked away, while Michael Lee, noticing me, smiled and said he remembered me. He mentioned that I had been coming to the office for several days, waiting until dark to leave, and that he was just too busy to meet with me. I presented my views and insights on this collaboration, including a detailed benefit analysis and a clear grasp of the market. Michael Lee was very pleased with my proposal and, after our discussion, readily praised me as a smart and thoughtful young man. We quickly finalized the contract. I was excited to sign my first contract, and I hugged Ryan tightly. His face turned red, and he couldn't help but glance around nervously. He was so adorable. I seemed to have fallen for him. I would gladly do so just for Ryan. In the distance, Charles's eyes were dark and unreadable, but they radiated a chilling coldness. When I returned in the afternoon with the contract, Lucy had already packed up my things for me. I opened the signed page, and my colleagues gasped around me as Lucy fell flat on the ground. Everyone's gaze shifted to Lucy, as if waiting for her to fulfill her promise. Instead of pressing her further, I pulled out my phone to show them a family photo. What Lucy claimed about seeing me get out of an old man's car is actually my uncle. Her uncle looks familiar. Didn't he make it onto Fortune magazine last year? Even the hairline is exactly the same. Emily is actually a hidden wealthy girl. I'm not living off a rich guy, because this company was a birthday gift from my father for my 20th. Now, please fulfill your promise and leave. Lucy softly pleaded, I was wrong. Can you please not fire me? I don't want to lose this job. I can apologize to you while walking around the office, okay? I smiled slightly, signaling her to continue. She walked around the office, shouting I'm sorry repeatedly, and I felt a wave of satisfaction. My colleagues, usually oppressed by her, took out their phones to record and laugh at the scene. Once she finished, she asked eagerly, Emily, can I stay? I shook my head. I never agreed to that. Lucy's eyes widened in disbelief. Are you really messing with me? I leaned in and said, this is your lesson, so just deal with it. The security dragged her outside, and she shouted in anger, gasping for breath, like a wretched stray dog. I was enjoying the cheerful atmosphere when my phone buzzed with today's trending news. It reported that the secretary of the GU Group had caused a scene in real estate and was left battered and bruised. Some people twisted her behavior online, claiming she was soliciting gifts. The outcry from netizens was deafening, and in just one night, Sophia became the target of public outrage. Despite being trending for an entire day, the topic remained up: who was pulling the strings behind the scenes? I returned home, holding a dinner roll in my mouth, and found Charles despondently squatting at the front door. "Can you give me a chance to talk?" Charles pleaded with me. Ryan peered over my shoulder, and I told him to head home, assuring him I could handle it. I opened the door halfway. "Say what you need to say. Are you two living together? Are you really together?" Charles asked me, his eyes slightly red. "Isn't it obvious?" I shrugged nonchalantly. "If you're just looking for trouble, please leave." I was about to close the door when he called out, "Wait a minute. I've fired Sophia and removed her from the industry. It was me who released the video, and I promise I won't have any contact with her again. I found the ring you wanted when I was learning to cook in the kitchen. Can I put it on you? Will you love me again?" Charles got down on one knee, looking at me with anticipation. If it had been the old me seeing this longed-for scene, I would have been moved to tears. Now, all I felt was helpless annoyance. "I don't love you anymore. Please stop trying to bother me. You're seriously affecting my normal life with my boyfriend." Charles shook his head in disbelief. "I don't believe it. Unless you tell me when you stopped loving me, I beg you to give me an answer. It began the moment you sacrificed our first and only child to care for sick Sophia." I slammed the medical record book into his face. He opened it, his hands trembling uncontrollably, and a look of anguish and fury crossed his features. "Emily, He couldn't finish his sentence. As if punishing himself, he slapped his own face hard twice. He knelt down, grasping my pant leg, begging, "Emily, I was wrong. I'm a jerk. Please, forgive me. I can't survive a single day without you." Such a proud man, kneeling before me in his moment of desperation, struck me as ironic. I mercilessly pulled my foot back, leaving only a crack in the door, and said, "I've solved all your problems, please leave." His hand was firmly wedged in the door, and even though it was getting pinched and bruised, he wouldn't let go. Ryan wrapped his arms around me from behind and said, "If you want to see us being affectionate, you're welcome to come in and watch." I turned around and kissed his lips. Charles's brows furrowed tightly, his gaze revealing deep jealousy mixed with an uncontrollable anger. I called the security to have him forcibly removed. He cried out my name in agony. It was only after I closed the door that I felt a sense of relief. Ryan lay in my arms and said with a hint of bitterness, "It looks like I'll have to keep a closer eye on you from now on." "What's wrong? Afraid I'll run away? Then you better cherish me." A flush crept up his earlobe, and he shyly nuzzled my shoulder, saying, "At your command." Ryan is going to throw me an extravagant wedding, with the whole city buzzing about the grandeur of the Wu Group celebration. I initially wanted to keep things low-key, but Ryan insisted that I deserved this. I really couldn't argue with him. I tried on the wedding dress I designed myself and posted it on my Moments, receiving a flood of well wishes. I invited my friend, the chubby girl, to be my bridesmaid. After sending her blessings, she sincerely asked if there would be any chocolate in the wedding cake. I smiled and replied, "There will be plenty." At the same time, I received a call from one of Charles's subordinates. "Sister Emily, Charles has gone crazy. He said he wants to experience your pain and has stabbed himself several times. He's now in the hospital with severe abdominal bleeding. Can you come and talk to him?" Ryan drove me to the hospital. When I arrived, Charles was lying there, his lower body bandaged like a mummy. Weakly, he waved at me, saying, "You came to see me. What are you doing? What we went through is in the past. You didn't have to go this far. I'm sorry. I can now understand why you would hate me. You've been in so much pain. I was truly wrong." I felt a wave of exhaustion wash over me. How can a person be so unreasonable? I don't want to hear any more of this nonsense. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. I still need to go try on an engagement ring. Charles sat up excitedly. "Emily, is there still a chance for us?" "No, Charles, it's over. Stop deluding yourself. Let's just move on and be well on our own." I spoke in a decisive tone, devoid of any emotion. The light in Charles's eyes dimmed, as if he was engulfed in endless sorrow. I pushed open the hospital door and turned back after a moment, saying, "By the way, tomorrow is my wedding with Ryan. You're welcome to attend. If you can't make it, I'll send you a digital video." Ryan took my hand, carefully helping me try on different engagement rings. "I want to choose the biggest and most expensive one." I affectionately tapped his head, teasing, jealousy at its finest. The wedding scene I have longed for countless times, wearing a wedding dress I designed myself, exchanging diamond rings with the one I love. I shed tears of happiness, which he gently wiped away. He remembered my request before the wedding to protect my beauty. He said that no matter how stormy it gets, he is willing to be my umbrella. Mr. Ryan, in wealth or poverty, in health or sickness, through the ups and downs of life, will you stay by my side, unwavering, until the end of time, whenever I need you the most? I will. Miss Emily, whether in wealth or poverty, in health or sickness, through the highs and lows of life, will you promise to stay by my side, unwavering and steadfast, for all eternity, especially in times of need? I do. Petals fell, and we shared a passionate kiss as witnesses looked on.